Sure, we can.
Sorry?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, that is in relation to the complaint by
Richard Jakpa.
Mr. Jakpa, that the CID should investigate the former AG for fabricating evidence. Now, there's something that we need to understand. Evidence, and there's something called perjury, meaning you lie. That is not a matter for the CID. That's a matter for the AG to charge you for perjury. I don't understand the locus in the CID. What is he going to? What is the CID going to investigate? That your word against the Attorney General's word, is that what he's saying? And that he recorded the Attorney General? Is that what it is? I think this country, I think the NDC is going rogue, and I think they have to stop.
But lawyer, is the CID not an investigative body and can investigate? Because he says that he has more damning evidence, and can the CID investigate that since they are an investigative body? And then
that was a matter that was pending in court. So it's no longer in the hands of the CID. It's a matter for the court, whether he committed perjury. It's got nothing to do with the CID. And I just can't understand why. And I made my statement. NDC is going rogue. They think they now have succeeded in removing the CJ. So they can just do whatever they want. And I'm saying that's wrong. Lawlessness is going out, and he has to stop. Or they have to stop. Now, he himself works in an institution called BNI, or National Security. So they say they themselves cannot investigate, but have to refer it to the CID. Is that what he's saying? I mean, this country is just going nuts. What's going on? We have to call these people to order. The country doesn't belong to one party. The country called Ghana belongs to all of us. And you think you have succeeded in removing the Chief Justice, and therefore you can now do whatever you want. Is that what you want to bring this country to?
Lawyer,
to move away from the way they are going.
I'm just curious, and I want to find out to what extent is a former Attorney General subject to a disciplinary action under the Legal Professional Acts and related rules.
That is a different matter from what is being pursued now. If we feel that he has violated the code of our conduct, that is our ethical rules. That's a different matter. That's a matter for the General Legal Counsel. The CID has no locus in honesty or dishonesty of a lawyer. CID has no role. They have no locus standard to come in within the, we have our own rules and ethical conduct. That is a different matter. So if you feel, and I know this matter has been done and beaten up long time ago. This matter happened, and I think it was in the media everywhere. So now, why now? You ask yourself, why now? Why didn't Japan do that last year? Why? If you know a wrong has been committed, you almost immediately do what you have to do. You don't go to sleep and think, now is the time for me to do it because it's a payback time. See, this is all there is. It's a payback time. They think that he feels that he was wrongly prosecuted, and therefore he needs to pay back on the Attorney General. But he's forgetting that the Attorney General was doing his job as the lawyer for the state, as a lawyer for the country. So you cannot go after him personally, thinking that you are paying him back. If that is how he's going to go, then everybody knows a lot that we can also do. But is that what you want? To live in a country that is called democracy? No. The answer is no. Absolutely no. And I think the NDC has to come back from the way it's going. It's going rogue, and it has to stop.
Lawyer, on you saying that the timing for the petitioning to the CID headquarters, I know you lawyers say that crime has no expiring date. So if he feels that last year, for instance, he couldn't get the redress he wanted, it doesn't stop him from now petitioning the CID, because again, he said he's got damning evidence against the former Attorney General, Godfred.
What damning evidence? What damning evidence has he got? And how is it that he could not get redress last year? Did he make the complaint and the complaint was ignored? Is that what he's saying? And you see, you have to understand that these guys are just political. They think they have the power, so they can do what they want. And I'm telling you, they don't have the power. This country was not given to them to come and demolish everything. No. We voted for them to come and make our lives better. Now, this Jakpa is going to people's houses, left, right, and center, searching, and he's still not satisfied. Now he's going after somebody who was doing his job. You see, the job that the former Attorney General did was as a lawyer. He was not a police officer. The evidence that was given to him was presented. If you feel that he compromised in his job as a lawyer, we have a different forum to go and complain. This has got nothing to do with the CID. Why are you bringing the CID in? You see, it tells you that they think they have the power, so they can abuse it anyhow. But they should remember that one day they may not be in power, and some person may also want to use the so-called power or the tools that they do have now. How are they going to take it? And you see, when you are a citizen of a country, you have to remember this. When it's allowed to be done to the poorest person, and you turn a blind eye as if you haven't seen it, tomorrow it may happen to you. And there'll be nobody there to defend you. That's why we are all saying that behavior has to stop. Weaponizing institutions against political opponents is wrong. It should not be encouraged, and I think he should be called to the order. The president should call him and say, look, you are disgracing this country too much, and it must stop.
Lawyer, again, you've mentioned that the CID headquarters at the moment doesn't have the locus to even investigate this petition that has been presented by Richard Jakpa. But I want us to move from jurisdiction and talk about the other claims that Richard Jakpa made concerning his allegation that he has to procure a false medical excuse to constitute a criminal or ethical offense. I mean,
I'm trying to do the same thing. When there is ethical breaches,
right,
by a lawyer, it is not a matter for the CID.
Okay,
there's a proper forum for that, and therefore the CID has no locus. When you make allegation that a lawyer has been dishonest or unethical in his conduct, and you go to the CID, what do you want the CID to do? It is going to be your word against him, and you are saying that you recorded him. Was it in his private capacity or when he was working as a lawyer?
So where should he be heading?
I'm sorry?
Where should he be heading with this petition?
Well, he should go to where we have a forum for lawyers.
The General Legal Council?
Well, I will not advise him. He's not my client.
Right.
And I don't give advice on air in the media. No. But I mean, the point is, what is he trying to achieve? That he could not. Is he saying he doesn't know we have a place to go against lawyers? Is that what he's saying? For you to say you go to CID, you are going to weaponize. You want to use the criminal law for somebody's conduct that you say is dishonest. When we in our statutes have a place that you see, if you think somebody's conduct is dishonest, you go. Why is he not going there? Because he thinks he's in power. He has the to me. He wants to use it. And I'm telling you, he has to be careful. Because power, they say, is transit. Tomorrow, if somebody else will come and start to use it, are we going to be able to tell the person that person should also stop? That is where we are. Because tomorrow, somebody may want to use it against him. And people like me who will say, no, you can't do that to our citizens. We will be in trouble because it will be difficult for us to do that. Because you have done it before. And that's why we are saying, don't do it. Don't do it. So tell him, I say he shouldn't do it.
Do you think that this petition that has been filed by Richard Jakpa has any potential of, hurting the image of the former Attorney General, Godfred?
Well, look. I don't want to get into the political aspect or the ocular, the way people look at things. I think it's better we tell ourselves as citizens that we have rules that we do business in this country. If you want to go and damage somebody because you think he wrongly prosecuted you, that is not the way you should go. And I think sometimes you shouldn't even be doing things like that. Because even the Bible says, vengeance is not mine. You leave it. Because the moment you do that, the tick for tat will never end. And you don't want to live in a country where somebody comes and the person is also coming after you. Do you want to do that? No, but if somebody has clearly committed an offense, that's a different matter. But for example, somebody has clearly stolen our money. You cannot let the person off simply because the person is your political ally. No. You let the law work. But not when somebody like this complaint that you are saying he told you to lie and so on. All of a sudden, CID should come in and do what? Do they have the locus? Is that your job? Tell him to give us a break. That has been filed by Roxin Mapo and the others. I think my conclusion on that is it is the entity that existed at the time that was recognized in the Constitution. And that entity at the time was the Ghana Bar Association. It's like the person, when I say the person, the artificial person that existed at the time was the Ghana Bar Association that was recognized in the Constitution, not just the name. And therefore, his references to the name is just wrong. And similar, I can give you an example. My name is Kwame Adofo. Tomorrow I can come and say, I call myself Abu Buzanga. I'll still be recognized as a lawyer, even though I was admitted as Kwame Adofo. Tomorrow I call myself Abu Buzanga. I'll still be recognized as a lawyer. You know why? Because it's not the name that is admitted. It's the person that is admitted. That is why Nanado Dankwa is still recognized as a lawyer, even though he was not admitted as Nanado Dankwa. I don't know if you understand the analogy I'm trying to say.
Right.
So the person, which is the artificial person that existed at the time, was the Ghana Bar Association. That was recognized by the Constitution in 1992. It's not the name. And therefore, those who are going to challenge only the name, they're just clearly wrong. Because you don't challenge the name. You challenge the entity that existed. So that's why I'll give you that example, that it's the person that is admitted and not the name. You can call your Ghana Bar Association, can tomorrow change its name. It will still be recognized in the Constitution because it was recognized at the time as an entity that existed. So that is my summary on that one. Now, if we can move on to the next one.
One of the key concerns that have been raised by the legal counsel for the former CJ, Ni Ayikwe Otu, and let me just run by you some of the key concerns he has made. We'll be speaking to him in a tad to really unpack some of these concerns. He may concern several procedural lapses under Article 146, including failure to serve her with the prima facie determination and non-consideration of her team's legal submission. He also talks about executive overreach with the removal of the Chief Justice, which extended unconstitutionally and from the Chief Justice position to the Supreme Court's judgeship. I beg your pardon. He speaks about suppression of evidence such as audited financial records and long-standing judicial policy on travel allowances. Then he speaks again on pending litigation before the Supreme Court and the ECOWAS Court. And if you remember, the former Chief Justice went to the ECOWAS Court to seek some redress, and we don't know what has happened to that. Lawyer Nia Ikwe to be able to provide some clarity on that if they're finally and throwing in the towel with all the legal redress they are seeking to get. As part of the key concerns, he also mentioned constitutional danger, which probably will set a precedent of removing a Chief Justice under questionable grounds that could reduce judicial independence to the mercy of political actors. So those are some of the claims that he has made, and we'll be speaking to him very, very, very soon. And on, he still refers to the Chief Justice, the recently suspended Chief Justice, as Chief Justice of the country, when clearly he has been removed from office by the president. Well, thankfully, lawyer, a very senior lawyer, and of course, lead counsel for the recently removed Chief Justice, Gertrude Arabatokono, Ni Ayikwe, to join us via Zoom for this conversation. Lawyer, a very good morning to you and many thanks for your time here on the Asase Breakfast Show. Lawyer, can you hear me? A very good morning to you, lawyer, if you can hear me.
Good morning.
I hope your morning has been great so far.
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Lawyer, the op-ed you wrote yesterday is instigating a lot of conversation about the removal of the Chief Justice, and you have been unequivocal that the removal of the Chief Justice is unconstitutional. And for many people who are seeing this for the very first time, their arguments have been that the president didn't commit any constitutional infraction. Actually, or in fact, the president followed through, laid down procedure to successfully remove the Chief Justice from office. But you don't think so. What is your justification?
Well, thank you. Well, I think the point we are making is that the Constitution makes provisions for what ought to be done. But when those provisions themselves are not followed, both in the letter and the spirit, then it will amount to an unconstitutionality. Yes, there is Article 146, which makes provision. What it requires is that there must be a petition. So the president receives the petition, he refers it to the Council of States, and then a prima facie determination should be made.